Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're in Nazir page 6, which brings down two famous logical explanations that actually is discussed over here as an argument. One of them is called, do we say mixas yom kekulo? Namely, is part of a day considered to be the entirety of the day? Now, this is an important concept that we find elsewhere. For example, in the event that one's relatives died, so there is a requirement of sitting Shiva, which is for 7 days a person will stay at home, they'll sit on a low chair, they don't wear leather shoes, and then after 7 days they get up from Shiva. Now the truth is that if you would go and visit someone on the 7th day, you'll maybe be surprised to see that they're not home anymore. And the reason is that just as long as they began sitting Shiva on that 7th day, even for a little bit of time, that is enough. They will then get up from Shiva. Typically, they'll have morning services, Shachar services, and then afterwards, they'll get up from sitting Shiva. Why? It's not the full day. But we say this concept of mixas yom kekulo, that part of a day is comparable, is like the whole day. And this is brought down here as well. When it comes to being a Nazir, one of the requirements is you have to be very careful not to become impure. If you become impure during the process, during the time of being a Nazir, so that could actually cause the entire Nazirus not to work, and therefore you'll end up possibly having to count the entire time again. There's different opinions, whether it's the whole time, it's for part of it. That's something which is also discussed here. But what happens if, let's say you're a Nazir for 30 days, which is the typical amount, and on the 30th day, you become impure? So it's possible, if you say this concept of mixas yom kekulo, that part of the day is like the whole day, as long as you were able to observe part of the 30th day as a pure Nazir, even if you became impure later on, maybe that's enough to save you. That is one important concept that's brought down. And again, it is borrowed in other situations as well. Another concept that's found on this page is what's called ad viad b'chlal. A person says, I am going to be here until 7 o'clock, or making it a little bit more Talmudic, I'm going to stay here until the 9th hour in the day. Now the question is, if I'm going to stay here until the 9th hour in the day, what does that mean? Now, again, let's say the 9th hour, starting from sunrise, let's say at 6 a.m., you could do the math, and that would be 3 p.m. But maybe not, because if you say until the 9th hour, is it including the 9th hour, or is it not including the 9th hour? And this is something which is discussed at great length in the 4th chapter of Brachos and many other places. How do we interpret the word until? I'm going to be doing such and such until this time. So does it include that amount of time, or does it not include it? And therefore, that's another important word that's found in this section, because if a verse says that you have until this amount of time to be able to do the completion of the Nazirus, so the question is that day included as well? And therefore, again, if a person became impure during that time, then it could have these differences. But we see from here these two very important concepts. First of all, again, this notion that even part of a day can be like a whole day, which we can also understand homiletically, that if you do something even a little bit on some level that has the meaning of more than just what you did, it could actually fulfill your entire day. You do one small little thing, it could fill up your entire day. It could end up having complete meaning. You do a little exercise, it can give you energy for the entire day. You do an act of kindness, that could carry you for the rest of the day. You get a compliment, or you give a compliment, that could change someone's entire day. And again, when it comes to this, when a person says until, I'm going to do something until, does it mean inclusive or exclusive?